Me iba a aventar un intro de aquellos potentes en este momento para ver si la bolsa iba a subir, pero iba a ser muy mamalón, ¿no? Como de Bitcoin ha estado haciendo esto y luego subiendo acá y luego encontrándose con una resistencia. Podremos, pero no he visto las tablas, honestamente. Solamente no las he visto del último en vivo a lo que estamos acá, pero no se preocupen. Aquí les tengo al buen Alex, aquí les tengo al buen Farhan para poder analizar todas estas cosas. Vamos a ver si nuevos altos históricos o si simplemente vamos a ver este gran rebote. Recuerden, todo lo que es un mercado bajista, que es un poco lo que hemos estado viviendo últimamente, en estos mercados bajistas, lo que puedes apreciar y disfrutar son esos rebotes que nos hacen pensar que vamos altos históricos todas las veces. Todas las veces. Y luego no llegamos y nos comemos y tenemos que comprar el siguiente dip, del dip, del dip, del dip, que sigue dipeando, que luego sigue dipeando. Así que con todo eso, vamos a analizar qué exactamente está pasando. Queremos saber si Bitcoin va a llegar a nuevos máximos históricos, sabemos si el SP500, etcétera. Y tírenme sus predicciones. Interesante, porque definitivamente estamos en modo alcista en este momento. Vamos a ver qué tanto dura. Aquí les tengo sin más ni más al buen Alex y al buen Farhan. Vamos a empezar esto con la tabla de Bitcoin, en lo que ponemos esto en Elite Trading Academy. Para toda la gente que no lo sepa, estamos trepando esto ya en el sitio. En este momento tuve un problemita esta mañana. Se me olvidó por completo que estos chavos me habían dicho que iban a estar en un compromiso en Dubái y que íbamos a empezar después, pero ahorita ya estamos listos para empezar. Para todos ustedes que se quieran hacer miembros de nuestro Discord, recuerden que es absolutamente gratis. Pueden caerle cuando gusten. Les voy a dejar acá el Discord. Tienen el enlace aquí abajo. Ahorita en X se los pongo, como siempre, un poco más tardío, pero se los pongo por ahí. Los menús están muy fáciles. Aquí tienes Elite Trading Academy. Tienes todos los menús a la izquierda. Los análisis de Alex, los de Farhan, chat general. Es bueno venir a los chat general, platicar con la gente, a ver qué ideas tienen, a ver qué están viendo, etcétera, para también poder ampliar tu conocimiento, tal vez encontrar confluencias o cosas que te hagan pensar que tal vez estás mal. Importante. Criptolingo, vengan a aprender todas las cosas que decimos por acá. Cualquier cosa está por acá, si es que no entiendes algo en inglés y en español, por supuesto. También vengan a compartir si están ganando con nosotros, la comunidad. Vamos a ver al tocayo, a ver cómo le fue. 29%, 140. Tomatito, ahí sigues con todo, cabrón. Sigues con todo, Tomatito. Verga. Oye, Tomatito, ¿puedes manejar tú mi cuenta, por favor, güey? Bien por ti. Espero que no sea el mismo short al que le sigo dando. Güey, hiciste un short con 500X, eres un enfermo. Un absoluto enfermo. Vengan también a ver todos nuestros enlaces oficiales que los tenemos por acá de los exchanges, etcétera, para TradingView con descuentos, etcétera. O si quieren tradear futuros y ser un degenerado como nosotros, caigan en nuestro sitio, es absolutamente gratis para aprender. Te metes en tutos, tío. Te metes en cómo tradear en Bluffing y acá te explicamos cómo depositar dinero en tu cuenta de Bluffing, cómo poder usarlo, cómo funcionan los menús, dónde te tienes que meter, etcétera. Todo en 5 minutitos. Y también BTCC, que es nuestro otro exchange, tienen el enlace aquí abajo. Ahí la diferencia es Bluffing es solo criptos, BTCC es tokenizado con cripto, USDT, pero también tienes acciones, tienes Tesla, tienes AMD, tienes Nvidia, tienes Google, Apple, etcétera. También tienes monedas, ahora sí que Forex, oro, plata, petróleo. Así que, y funciona igualito que esto. Así que este video te ayudará para todos. Sin más ni más, empecemos esto. Alex Farhan, good morning. I thought you were still in the bathroom with your fucking little lamp right there. I think you're muted.
What up, boys?
There you go.
Buenos días, muchachos.
There he is. Buenos dias. How are you guys?
We're doing great. We just got back from the BTCC event. I got to say, BTCC's event was a lot more fun than Bluffing's event. They had us out on this huge ass yacht where there was like not very many people on there. I think total was like 50 people. And we met the rep, met his boss, met the CEO of BTCC. Nice people.
Nice. Very, very nice. Well, I'm very fucking jealous because all I've been doing is just fucking screaming at the camera here.
I wonder what you think about it. I asked Alex yesterday when we got to the Bluffing event. I was like, how many of these dudes do you think came with prostitutes?
How many of these dudes what? Came with prostitutes? Oh, the thing is, a lot of people don't realize this, but in Dubai, the Russians love selling their vaginas. They that's Russian vagina sale central in Dubai. So everywhere you go, pretty much, even when I used to go there a lot with a lot of friends and old guys, right? And a lot of them were like, dude, I want to get with a girl, whatever. And by the second trip, we all realized that 99% of the women that they were talking to were hookers. And the other 1% could have been a guy. So, scary.
It's what these crypto companies do is that they did the same thing for Crypto Fight Night. Is they'll go book out all of the top like OnlyFans models in Dubai, and then they'll have them be announcers who'll just like stand there and dance or some shit. They had a bunch of them at the boat party.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yep. It's a real thing. So a lot of those ladies like the easy money, easy life. And I don't know how easy it is to get shit on, but hey, you like it.
I just got to mention this for the record. I did not look for a single second. Didn't look at all. I am a loyal man, so I did not even look. My eyes were on the floor, glued to the
floor. I look.
There's just there's no nice women here. I mean, I'm on the apps. I'm talking to a nice girl, spending some game, and then she's like 300 for an hour. It's like, oh, it's like 99% of the girls are prostitutes here. 100%.
But you know what? Cut the bullshit, dude. Just pay your fee, get it done, get in, get out. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to fucking put up with it. It's just glorious. I mean that's what I would do if I were single.
If you're not looking for a relationship, then you don't got to take them out 3 times.
It's way cheaper. $300 for a vagina.
No, it is cheap. Dude. Like logic is better ROI. I like the game though. I like going out. I like good girls. These are just hey, they're just bad. Whatever. I mean, that's all people have. Money.
You never know if a bad woman's going to teach you some great lessons, Alex. You never know. Let's get us started with Bitcoin. The Bitcoin, guys. Very curious to see what you guys are looking at right now.
That thesis from last time is playing out. We're just going straight up.
So far, so good. Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, being bullish definitely in the beginning or late April was definitely the move, because what we've had so far is bullish consolidation. And we actually talked about here this move basically in the beginning of May, where we were gauging maybe this resistance at 95.5, taking us down to this zone around 88.5 to now 89,000. Now, that scenario seems less likely, and it's still a long scenario if we get a pullback down to that SMA 200 specifically. But as of now, it's like Farin said, seems very unlikely right now because, remember yesterday we were gauging essentially this daily close, right? My system says 95.5 daily closes above 95.5, signal a move up to 99,500 to 99,300. Ever so slightly, basically front running that 100,000 major resistance. So for now, I mean, we are within this zone. You are now in a no trading zone, which is how I look at things. You're either watching for the daily 9 to move into that 95.5, a scenario we talked about, basically solidifying this being major support before moving up to closer to the 100K region. And it's not something we haven't seen before. 95.5 held as amazing support in this basically chop consolidation range before the breakdown. But you would hit 95.5 and then move up to that 99K zone. So, why would this time be any different? We saw kind of how price deeply respected this range very tightly here. So now we have to gauge this zone with, being a new range. We're back within support, and we need to be gauging that as support. Now, I did take 2 shorts yesterday, an E short and a Bitcoin short. Logical to me, as long as we were under resistance. But to me, it just made a lot of sense to have a tight stop loss, essentially based on this breakdown high here, right around 99,600. And, even said here, any daily closures above 95.5 equal no short zone. This pullback scenario seems unlikely. So that's kind of the environment we're in now. And we're still, even while we're moving up, getting daily volatility contracting. Now, Bitcoin is, still looking pretty good to me. And even the lower time frames are like, I'll go to the 4 hour. nothing really has shown any weakness. Now, we've had moves down, of course, to the 4-hour 9, but that's all that's really occurred, which is moves down to the moving averages, even on the 4-hour, which have been well respected. You're noticing Bitcoin specifically is moving within a very nice range on the 4-hour. And this is something to note if you're a trader, right? If you know that this 4-hour range is being really well respected within the 9, the 21, and the 34, on the 4-hour, as a trader, why wouldn't you play this, right? You know, the 34 has been the extremity opportunity to go long, right? It's been working out until we lose that 4-hour 30 EMA 34. That's no different. And now what you're doing is you're getting these moving averages moving in within the 95.5 zone, just tying into possibly the daily 9 doing that, giving us more support within possibly, you know, this weekend. If we get any kind of consolidation within this range, you're going to want to start seeing this hold, specifically when you get to 34 moving up, right? We know the 34 on the 4-hour has been holding, so why overcomplicate it? Bounce from the 34, reclaim the 21. From there, you make a move up to the 9. You get back above the 9. You've been seeing these busting action moves on Bitcoin. Worked out well here, even here worked out, and now here. Now you can go in this chop zone, which you can see where you're trading within these moving averages, but as long as you kind of focus on the 34 being the extremity long, that has been playing out nicely. So now we're within a new range. You don't long up here though, specifically when you know that the 4-hour is in a nice uptrend. And we just made a higher high. Often what comes is a higher low. So even if you're playing the 4-hour trend, this is still a no long zone. For me, it's just a lot more wiser, in my opinion, to kind of get confirmation of 2 to 3 candles above 95.5. Could look something as, okay, we got the close, we expanded. In the weekend, we get some consolidation, pullback. The 9 supports this idea, and then into next week, we move up closer to 99,300. So long as we are above 95,500 now, it is now more of a chance to us for Bitcoin to go to 99,300. And that's just evident even on the HBDR. You see now the median is moving up right around the 95.5, even quicker than the EMA 9 on the daily. So you have 2 points here just telling you 95.5 is the spot. You're either going to deviate the zone, get a nice short trade, then the Academy and I can look for the move back to 90,000 potentially, or you're going to be looking for either consolidation that's proving that this is support. You're going to note that the daily hasn't even retested this yet into support. So the first retest is going to be quite important. But playing into Farron scenario, very much like here, you didn't really retest 90,800 before moving up. You just ever so slightly formed a bullet structure before breaking out. So, you know, why would this time be any different? It's the same scenario on what I was saying on the 4-hour. Bitcoin's in a very interesting dynamic where you're seeing a lot of October kind of price action creep back into the markets after so much bearishness, right? Bitcoin was legitimately bearish, but it's honestly recovered quite nicely. And now bulls are quite, you know, they're making a very big case for potentially going up to all-time highs, possibly within the next month. Now it's all going to hinge between these ranges here. You'll notice Bitcoin has made an all-time high each and every time we've broken above this white line and closed weekly closures above that. That is literally right at 99,300 and 99,500, the next big zone. So you have to be gauging this as the next big area of resistance, or within this range, we very well could go up to here, reject, come down, hit this, play within this before going up, causing the daily BBWP to reset fully, giving us a tight range similar to what we saw here before the breakdown. But Bitcoin is very bullish to me right now, and even the weekly is showing that. Just currently where we're at on the weekly, let's check the index on the daily. That'll be quite helpful. Yeah, I mean, even this on the index is quite bullish. And you're getting perfect confluence of 99,500 to 100,000 being the next zone, so long as we stay above the median, which is sitting right at 99,700, so slightly above 99.5. So this is now really nice to gauge because this isn't a confirmed uptrend, right? And so the higher low ideally will come close to around that 9. the idea now is the 9 will creep closer to wherever price is, and ideally we find some bottom around 95 to 95.5. That to me kind of seems like the next objective, potentially giving us the trade up to 99,400, like I've been mentioning. And then at this point, since we know that this line here is what's essentially going to separate us from all-time high, you do have to then gauge this as being the next major zone of resistance. Until then, though, you have either chop and consolidation or nothing but air until then. So this is actually really bullish now after yesterday's daily close. Yes, I gave a short. They both got stopped out, but they were very tight risk within the short. You're shorting 95.5 to 96.1 with a stop at 96.6. You really can't go wrong with that type of risk within this kind of market, because with shorts, you have to have that type of invalidation, because what you don't want is be holding shorts here and here and here, hoping to get out break even, and Bitcoin never puts in the retest around here, but rather than smokes all of the shorts and just keeps going up, and even people wanting to long don't get positioned. See, it's like Bitcoin loves to be max pain, and currently right now, market is telling me, at least, I think you boys as well, that max pain is just up. If Bitcoin keeps resuming up to 100K, leaving all the people who want either pullbacks to get in out, or leaving shorts just totally obliterated, not even getting a chance to get out break even, per the normal system would be, retest up, not really even getting that on Bitcoin, really. As shown here on the weeklies. I mean, you're just kind of like reclaiming these zones, launching, reclaiming the zone, launching. So, I mean, it does put into question here, are we actually going to see the all-time high get tested around here? Per this weekly, you are going to go up around $106,000. So, for me, it's good to not front run these zones. We can easily see these shift. That's why I'm sticking to the daily, and I want to just see 95.5 get defended. As long as 95.5 gets defended, what you could be putting in here is, let's look at the 2-week before I say this, because it could look nicer. You could be putting in a inverse head and shoulders on the 2-week. Now, this will take a lot of time, of course, but if you're gauging it like this and like this, this could easily go up, go down, form the right shoulder before going up, something like that. Very ugly, but it could technically be a scenario, and this would lead into potentially a rejection of that weekly 38.2% potentially, and then coming down, forming that right shoulder before the big breakout. Right, that's just like some meme line fairy dust stuff I'm bringing for the bulls, but that is a legitimate scenario here with kind of this price action we're getting. But still, legitimate concerns of a big breakout within this month or next month. We were gauging possibly May being the month. That was based on BBWP being at 15%. We now see we're fully contracted back right around where we have major inflection points on the market each and every time. Right? If you look at this yourself, each and every time monthly BBWP is below 15%. Each and every time. This has been a major point for markets up or down. So this is telling me that you are going to trend very hard up or down soon. And as it stands, this still should be a move to the upside. Even just viewing the HBDR, perfect bounce up to 38.2%. Next target on this monthly is right at that $110,000, which would put Bitcoin slightly at an all-time high. So lots of data here, but overall, if you're trading, you're just sticking to like the 4-hour and the daily, in my opinion. No need to overcomplicate it. We're in a very well-respected range on the daily, very well respecting the daily silver cross, I believe. Yeah, and this daily silver cross is extremely strong. We wanted the 2-day silver cross to get tested, but as long as this daily silver cross is this strong, meaning each and every time the daily 9 gets tested, we're literally forming the next higher low and expanding from there, it's going to leave this 2-day 9 not being tested. And more so, the higher we go up, the more you're going to see this 2-day 9 go up with price. You notice how this is starting to move up, where we wanted to pull back at 91s. Now it's already at 92,100. Essentially, the higher you go up could lead into a scenario where this starts moving up the EMA 9, and it just ends up meeting price, right? And so where we never officially hit it on the charts in the future, it'll look like it did get hit. And that's just what can happen in very bullish environments. But it's not dumb to gauge that being, a legitimate spot to bid. You have the 38.2% on the 2-day. 91.8 is very important support, along with the 2-day 9. Right around 92,100, I believe, is the daily 21. Yeah, right around 91.5, which would be technically the second zone if this daily EMA 9 doesn't hold the silver cross, would be the 21. Just coming in right around the 2-day EMA 9 silver cross retest. And with the 2-day EMA 9 holding as strong as it is and has been, you have to then gauge the 21 being the next major spot of support. But again, it all depends on 95.5 getting lost and also the daily EMA 9 getting lost. So bulls are in full control here. As long as we hold above 95.5, 100,000 seems like the next spot for me. You can be trading this very easily on like a 4-hour, and you can just very easily respect the moving averages, play the trend. After a higher low comes a higher high. And you also know each time the EMA 34 gets tested, that's been a bottoming point within the breakout. Basically, since we were at 84,000, this strategy has been working. So there's really no reason to change that up. Now, if we start losing the 34 in your short bias, right, maybe you start deviating 95.5, you close under the 34, meaning you then close under 95.5 again. That'll give me a pretty easy short back down to 91s. Until then, though, we got to respect the trend, which is up. We've just formed a higher high. Even on the 4 hours, you should be gauging a higher low somewhere around here. And if the weekend gives you any kind of pullback, you're gauging this 9 to be moved up and basically 95.5 to hold as support within the weekend. What you don't want is this move to get totally sold off within the weekend and then come CME, we just sell down more. 95.5 is the next spot. It's just similar to what I was saying when we were here. We wanted daily close above, but we got that. Now you need this to prove to you its support by actually consolidating on it, right? This is leaving almost like it's like an inefficiency here where you got to put in the bullish retest. Doesn't always have to happen immediately, but more than not, it will eventually. Either happens like this, and then you do this, and then you go back up, or into the weekend, you'll actually get a pullback scenario and consolidation. And all this will do is simply reset daily BBWP even more. Because I don't think we're going to get a major move up yet, meaning the monthly firing off quite yet, if this is still contracting. Now, if this fully resets, right, and it's now under 15%, and it's giving us a setup, this could bleed into the higher time frames, like the 2-week and the monthly. But nothing's really indicating to me yet that a major move up or down is going to occur. Just the possibility of that is there. So, we have Bitcoin is overall looking good. Bull solidified the close I wanted. And so now we're going to play the new range. I'm looking within Sunday, right? I don't want to really weekend trade. I just want to watch and see how this is respected into the weekend. Possibly Sunday CME, if we're around the 95.5, I'll look to give a long out, and I'll look at 93,000 being my stop loss. Very logical, plays the daily trend, and this plays the next higher low where we're not giving longs here, but rather waiting for a logical bullish retest. And the stop loss right at April 30th low makes sense to me, because that was the next higher low before we made the higher high. So, it's like, yes, we, tried to short here. Didn't work that well, lost a very minimal amount, like 1%, less than 1% if you short at 96.1. And now we can shift gears and look at a possible long up to 100K, which is still a nice 4% move with potentially what kind of risk? With 2%, 2.3% risk. So, it's more day trade scalp territory, but it's a legitimate setup if this proves its support. And if we start breaking 100K, next stop is nothing but air. We're going to see closer to $105,000 to $109,000. So that is Bitcoin. Daily, 2-day, and 3-day has silver crossed. So it just plays into, Bitcoin being more bullish than not. Waiting for the 55 to populate. Crazy that just trading view is so slow. But you'll notice here that it ever so slightly did silver cross on the 3 days. Now we have a 2-day, 1-day, and 3-day silver cross. And what you're noticing, even I'm noticing this now, is the 3-day 9's right around 91K as well. So that's tying in nicely with the daily 21, right, at 91K. And also even the 2-day 9, which would be the silver cross retest, coming in, yeah, right around 91. Higher 91s, 92K. So good confluence of this idea. Kind of what Farin was saying, if we do see a move down, you should be gauging this to kind of hold us now, right around 91.8. I wanted 88,500 to get hit, and that very well could happen. But in my opinion, you start really losing 91.3s, 91.8s, you're going to really be in some concerning territory. Hopium now is that just the SMA 200 and the weekly 9 hold. So that's Bitcoin. 99,500 seems next, as long as we hold above 95.5. That gives you a nice range to play with, and I'll be scoping possibly a new long into Sunday. Now we can look at Bitcoin dominance, and we're still breaking out. We're now in a higher high, just very easy uptrend here. I keep saying this, you know, it's like trading Bitcoin dominance is like easy money right now. So you just play the trend system, you have easy stop losses, and you know exactly where you're wrong. Something to note is just literally the strength of this rally. Daily 9 has just been holding us solidly since 61.6%. Something to note as well is BBWP on the daily is fully reset now, very close to almost going to zero, but we at least have a volatility setup now. So, you know, just plays into, right, 69.5% most likely is the next stop. We've been seeing bullish Bitcoin dominance lead into a bullish Bitcoin. If Bitcoin dominance looks like it's about to move up, potentially closer to 9%, you know, is that why Bitcoin's looking like it's ready to go up to, you know, 109,000, which from this point, 95.5 would be, you know, 8% would be right around 103,000, 104,000. All-time high from this point is only 14% away from 95.5. So it's really not that far away. You have to really wonder if we are going to test that once we do break above 99,800. And I'm saying a range here. It's 99.3 to 99.8. That's kind of where my brain's at. You can use 100K as the psychological number to make it easier, but I'm more watching kind of 99.8 to 99.3. Bitcoin likes to play into those ranges. So Bitcoin dominance is just still looking massively bullish, and nothing's changed on that front. 69% will eventually get hit. My projection on this is most likely, you know, within the next month or two, we probably see this doing some combustion action all the way up to 69.5%. And then what you're going to notice is I'm gauging a harsh rejection down from this point. It's only logical, right? This is a major spot for Bitcoin dominance. You either are going to get the SFP play and down, or you're legitimately going to hold this, close weeklies above it, and totally shift this price structure. Something we've never seen before, which is weekly close above 69% and holding. That'll be a shift that we've never seen, and it'll play into the fact that it looks to me like this is going to get filled out. And that's solely because of the monthly closing above the EMA 100. Once that occurred, I was saying that this is a big shift on Bitcoin dominance that we've never seen in the history of Bitcoin dominance. That was 2 months ago. So far that analysis has played out well. We've gone up so far 4.4%, which is a lot for this asset. But, you know, I don't think it's done yet. And even on this monthly close, you got a perfect reclaim of this resistance. So even if you got a pullback on Bitcoin dominance, you should be gauging the 64% to hold. So looking quite good for that. And then Tether dominance here, looking bad. I mean, monthly lower high is possible here, legitimately. Let me get the 55 off. You're now at the 9, so you know, are kind of at a bounce zone, I will say, but major shooting star. Monthly is already looking heavy. Yes, you're holding the 9 slightly, but this, once it loses 5%, it's going to get ugly and go to 4.69%. Let's look at the weekly. Let's look at the 2-month as well. Yikes. Major resistance at 5.24%, which gives me confluence of the mean line resistance because you have the 2-month 9 and the 21 major rejection zones in this area. So you could be front running that now. You could bounce from the monthly 9, move up to the 5.25%, but it's either you're going to reject now or at 5.25%. It's not looking good at all for this.
No wonder why Scottie Pippen says that 102,000 is coming now.
Yeah, it really could actually. I mean, you legitimately have to start seeing this bounce on the monthly and 2 week, or this is going to capitulate.
Very technical analyst, Scottie Pippen.
Exactly. It's very technical.
That's the basketball player, right? Yeah, it is.
Oh boy, Jesus Christ. Alex is joking, everyone. Of course he knows who Scottie Pippen is. Of course.
Of course. So I mean, weekly, 2 week, and monthly, it's all telling you this needs to bounce legitimately here. You're either going to bounce here and move up to that 5.24%, which gives you confluence of the weekly EMA 100. You had the 2-month EMA 21, the EMA 9, like a lot of area of resistance here at 5.24%. Or this is legitimately just put in the bearish retest already. We're now literally about to bigly reject here, and Bitcoin's about to go up very nicely up, which could give us confluence of 100K being hit because 95.5 is now reclaimed, right? Like that's what I'm talking about, is 100K being next, essentially, as long as we're above 95.5, which would mean this needs to come down. This is looking very bearish to me. So you're at 3 different time frames telling you, yeah, this better bounce here or it's absolutely cooked. Daily looks just terrible. What you have simply here is, let me see. I mean, you kind of have like a channel here that's now breaking down, very simply put. So that's not good. You have a breakdown. You have a loss of the daily EMA 100. You have a now rejection of this channel. You can draw it a little better. We're professionals here. We draw patterns and look at unicorn money. And next target technically is that 4.69%. If you can just see that, right, you're under all these moving averages, lost 100. Next target puts you at that SMA 200, which, is coming in right around the next mean line, right? You're in this big mean line kind of range here. All this chop really did was put us within this channel. Now we're breaking down. Yes, you can move up a little bit, but you should now start gauging the daily to start moving down to 4.69%, which could be exactly why we're now getting a new range on Bitcoin and why this is now looking like it wants to go up to this green line, essentially, right? We're now in this range. So we're at support. We're now bouncing from support. We're at the no trade zone. You can look at this as a mid-range. I won't. And it's, to me, just seeming like 99K is incoming. Tether dominance is in the process of a breakdown. Let's see if HPR confirms that. More or less. Daily will more confirm it today if we lose the median. Then next objective is 4.83%. So then you have to really wonder if we're just going to go to that 4.69. From current price action, next support on Tether dominance is right around 6%. I find that interesting because, and I know I'm not going to seamlessly find it, but let me see. I think that was the weekly. 6% from this point. Was it on this chart? 104? No. There's a 2 week. Oh, maybe it was here. 2 week. I think from this point, 6%. Yeah, would take you directly to that 2 week median at 103,000. So it's just, that's an interesting point, right? Like if this ends up going to the next support zone, technically speaking, the next support zone would be a 6% dump from here. That would lead us to the 2 week median right around $104,000 to like 103,900. So, it's quite important. I'll update, the Discord over the weekend. I'm going to go live on Saturday and Sunday, but we want to gauge this median here, because if we lose this median, that's just good confirmation of us potentially about to get a big breakdown. Even on this HBDR view, if we just like move down to the next zone, that is a 3.3% move. So definitely tradable. Ties into Bitcoin to me, looks like it's brewing a move up to 99,300 to 99,800. To me, it seems like 99. Oh, I hope. Okay. Anyways.
You muted yourself. It was the other way around.
All right.
There you go.
I love when people call. I don't know why I don't silence my phone. So yeah, no, in summary, I mean, Bitcoin's looking more bullish than not. 95.5 was my line in the sand, and it still is. Above 95.5 opens the door to test 100,000 to 99,800. That to me should be the next major zone of resistance. As long as we are under 100K, though, you do need to look at that as a major psychological point on the chart, major zone of resistance, and kind of like, in my opinion, the last line in the sand before all-time highs. So you would kind of expect bulls and bears to kind of fight around 100K. As it stands now, you're kind of in a no trade zone. You're either looking for 95.5 to go long or an SFP of 95.5 to go short again. I did try to short yesterday with a 1.5% loss on that trade, and now I'm more gearing to long, potentially 95.5. We do end up getting an extremity trade. It'll be around 90,800 to 91K. I don't think 88,000 will get hit again before we go up to 100K. So, but that is as long as we hold above 99.5. No, my apologies. 95.5. A lot of numbers there, right? They all sound the same. 95.5 is the line in the sand for any trader. Above there for me opens up 100K, and you are seeing the reaction yesterday's close. So. It is nice.
Interesting that Solana's not pumping. What in the fucking fuck?
I've been looking at Sol.
Bad Solana. No. Do you want to share your screen, sir?
They're selling all of their Sol to pump Bitcoin. They're taking one for the team.
There's a lot of those stories right now floating around where somehow either we're selling gold to buy Bitcoin, we're selling altcoins to buy Bitcoin, we're creating a new business for the United States and all of its people so that we can buy Bitcoin and then with that pay for our debt. It's been fun. It's been fun. And Scottie Pippen's $102,000 target might be on point considering Capo said that we're going down now.
The nice rule of thumb is to know which one is going to play out. It's to know which one is the most bullish. That one will clearly play out. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Let's start with the 8 hour. Right now, we are very close to getting an 8 hour close. About 3 minutes left to go. I usually have these time frames memorized by wherever I live. I know the 8 hour closes at 11 a.m. in Cancun. So that's how I know it's about to be 11 a.m. And the 8 hour is now just about to freshly give us a close over this 38.2%, which we have been rejecting all the way through. Last time we closed over the 38.2% was right when we had our major breakout to about like $95,000, and then upwards to about 96. And this is going to be the first time that we have a close, assuming we don't reject in the next 2 minutes over this 38.2%. That should give us a target of hitting the 88.3% like it did last time. And the 88.3% right now sits at over $100,000, right around $105,000, which is what I think is probably going to happen. We're probably going to go towards that $100,000 area before it really gives any type of pullback at all. Because it seems like it's one of those moves where it just zooms up, and then when people finally start to get bullish, that's where it puts in the pullback. And that pullback might even take us below $100,000. I'm kind of on the camp that it will. And right now, momentum on the 8 hours just about to break into the bullish control zone with volatility expanding from 0%. The last time that we freshly broke up our momentum into the bullish control zone was right over here, and this is also during that move to the 88.3%. Let's go a little bit back and see the other time we broke into the bullish control zone. We did it right over here, and then we went up towards the 78.6%. So even the 78.6% right now would be over $100,000, I believe. Yeah, it's at right around $101,000 to $102,000. That is the first area where I believe we will find our first level of resistance, probably pull back from 102, and then continue on to that 105, 106 level. Let's see if we can find another example. No, these are deviations. This one right here, where we went into the bullish control zone, we went to the 88.3%. Let's see. And right here, we went to the bullish control zone. We went to the 78.6%. That's at 102,000. Right here, 78. No, not really. It didn't really count. This one does. This one went up to the 78.6%. This one's 78.6%. Uh-oh. This one, 78.6%. 88.3, my bad. This one's 88.3. Let's move down a little bit. Also 88.3. So the one that it seems to hit most of the time is that 88.3% level. And at a minimum, the 78.6. And that'll put us between 102 and $106,000. Now let's move on to the daily. Let's go to the 4 hour first.
I'm telling you, Scotty checked the HPDR. He knows.
He did. He checked his Jewel and his HPDR. We have momentum on the 4 hour now starting to flip down with volatility contraction, telling us that it is very likely or very possible that we do get a pullback from here. Although if you notice, we closed the 4 hour above the median and we're still above the median. So a natural pullback target would line up right with that median, maybe a little bit lower to the 90 EMA, but anywhere between this 96.6 and $97,000 area should be seen as an opportunity zone. And if you would want to enter along somewhere in this area, you could just use this wick low as your stop loss and you would have pretty good risk. Like your risk is about 0.5% versus your target at 102 is like 5 to 6% up and 0.5% down. So that's like 10 to 1 odds. Pretty good. Let's switch over to the Jewel on the 4 hour. The Jewel is now very close to getting the pink crossing over the yellow, and the oscillator is switching back around, losing the neutral signal and switching to a buy signal once again. Lines up with us. If we do get a move down to that median, should be a spring into the 38.2%, which right now is sitting at right around $98,000. And I don't expect that $100,000 level to be very significant resistance at all. Like maybe it'll get a slight projection, but I do eventually expect it within the same day to blast through 100,000. We just had that 8 hour close. 8 hour now is now flipping into the bullish control zone, flipping well to the upside with volatility support. And now the 8 hour is also about to give us that Jewel signal with the pink crossing above the yellow. It's all looking quite prime, especially since we have that 8 hour close over the 38.2%. If we do see a pullback based on the 4 hour, that would bring us down to the same level, 96.7, same as 4 hour, which would just be retested this 8 hour 5 EMA, and that should give us our spring, which right now I think that would be the ideal scenario to play out. Let me set an alert at like $97,200. Pressing down 97,200. There's a free trade for anybody if they're sidelined at the moment. Very good risk, anywhere between 97,200 to like 96,700. Take that long. Stop loss is this wick low, and you're targeting 102,000. For TP1, TP2 would be 105,000, and then TP3 would be all-time highs at 109,000. You're welcome, fellas.
Thank you, Foreign. On behalf of all the nation, We want to just
You
say
got-
thank you.
You got instead of Tio, I'll be Papacito.
Calm the fuck down. All right, we're gonna stay with Tio for now, Papa. Let's not just go there right now.
Dude, there's that one song where the intro is like Papacito. I don't know what the song's name is though.
There's so many, my friend. So many. That's whoever did that once. Let me tell you, they got copied, and everyone did it a billion times more.
It's like an intro with a bunch of different Mexican women saying Papacito.
It's like hang on. So just so you understand, it's basically like saying it's like that rap song that starts with It's like all of them start with that.
And the meme is don't call me daddy, call me Papacito.
I'm gonna find the one that you're specifically talking. All right.
On the daily, we got about 8 hours left to go. We are freshly getting momentum back over the moving average with volatility just about to start expanding. And we have not had this set up since basically that breakout we had where we went straight up to about $95,000. We went up $20,000 in the price of Bitcoin in less than a week. Pretty wild. And we're about to get that same setup once again. And $20,000 up would take us to new all-time highs, very close to $120,000. And the jewel is still maintaining itself in the critical zone, has not even lost the critical zone yet, and it's about to flip back around and give us another buy signal. That is pretty wild. And this close over the median would give us a natural price target of this 38.2%, which right now sits at $99,900. Another piece of influence why I think we're probably most likely going to go straight to 100,000. Today has that silver cross with momentum flipping back up into the bullish control zone, getting back above the moving average. Volatility is once again expanding, and now we have this jewel set up where the pink is crossing above the yellow and light blue is crossing into the critical zone. Let's mark this off to see how much we moved up and how much we should expect to move. Let's mark it a little bit before the cross. This one happened around just above the bearish control zone, similar area. We're not going to use this one because it happened too high. Pink above yellow. We'll do it right there. Let's do a little bit before the cross. Pink above yellow. We'll do it right there. And we'll get one more example. Pink above yellow right there. And that should be it. Now let's see how much of a results we got. This is a bear market example, July of 2022. Initially pumped about 4%, then it went down, and then it went up about 16%. Here's another example. Stair step up, elevator down. About 16%, but I'll say very similar number. %, very close to 16%. Let's see what the next one is. This one is quite large. October of 2023. So immediately about 28%, 38, 62, 78. Let's keep going. Another quite impressive one. Immediately about 5, then 16, very similar to 13, and 16 we had before. 47, 71, very similar to the high end, around 70 to 80% on the high end. Low end about 15, 16. So far, how much have we done? So far, we're up about 15%. So very, very close to that minimum number. If we were to take it roughly 40%, which is the medium number, that would take us to about just around $120,000. Very interesting level. Keep that number in the back of your mind. Take it about 70 to 80%. brings us roughly to around 145 to like $150,000. Those numbers would also be very relevant. And then if you look at our last time we had a silver cross on the 2-day to the upside and close over the 38.2%, that will be right over here. Close over 38.2%, had a silver cross, came back down, retested it, and then blast off. Which I'm still expecting to see that retest of the silver cross, but probably not going to happen until after we go to $100,000. Because remember, we still have a bare moon. It does make sense before that real trending move doesn't happen, or it makes sense if it doesn't happen until we get the bull moon, which is going to be 2 weeks after April 27th. I can't do the math for when that is. 3-day also has a silver cross to the upside, and this is a pretty fucking epic silver cross. They're all right bunched up together when you get that cross. Last time we had one of these crosses was right over here, pretty much the exact same cross when we went from $60,000 straight up to $100,000. And we're about to get a close over 38.2% as well, which is the last time we had that freshly was also when we went from $60,000 to $100,000. And now we're about to get a pretty epic jewel signal, but the pink is very close to crossing above the yellow. 5-day. 5 days also pointed up on momentum with volatility support, very close to breaking into the bullish control zone. 5 days just about to tap this 38.2%, around $98,000. We've got 3 days and 8 hours left to go. If we can get a 5-day close over this 38.2%, this is basically all you need to confirm busting action. Because every single time you get a 5-day close over the 38.2% is when you really start to see those girthy green dildos. Like you see some girthy green dildos when you close off that 38.2%. Let's find some more examples right here. Girthy green dildos right there. You always see these girthy green dildos. And when you close below it, you see girthy red dildos. Right here. Only the finest technical analysis terms here at ETA.
Of course, everybody's here just for that. And the seriousness overall, like the seriousness of the analysis is really what people are attracted to.
It's so ethereal.
It's very ethereal. It's very ethereal, okay, everyone? It's very ethereal. We don't make jokes in here.
They're not taking me ethereal.
People that make jokes are pathetic, and they like don't make money. And if you make jokes, no one's gonna take you seriously. So you better put on your little suit and go out there and get the best out of your day, being really ethereal.
Super ethereal.
There you go. 20 million more subscribers. Welcome.
Let's see what these 5-day jewel results are. They shall be quite impressive in my opinion, but I am just guessing. I like to do that sometimes. I like to guess. Almost got the examples. I'm so super ethereal.
I want to watch that episode tonight. It's fucking phenomenal.
46%. What I loved is how towards the end they actually was like, "Oh, he was right all along."
He was.
And the real man bear pig starts killing everyone.
Yeah, that's the one, because the first time that he shows up, it's not that great. The one in the mine, but the really good one is when he actually shows up. He's like, "Should we be worried about man bear pig now?" And he's already there eating and destroying everyone.
Man bear pig is like South Park's global warming, right?
It is global warming, but it's also the boomers destroying the monetary system and the weather. Check it out again with that in mind. Like it's talking to the boomers about like how they spent all of our money and why they like all the deals with the devil that they made or selling their soul in order to get like those houses for $35,000 and then sell them for millions. That's what it is. It's brilliant.
I see. When I was first watching it, I just saw man bear pig through the idea of global warming.
Me too. the first times. Eventually I saw it, not that, like probably a year, 2 years ago, and I was like, oh, got it.
So South Park can only really be enjoyed by people of a very high intelligence level, very high IQ.
That's why I don't like it.
Same thing with Rick and Morty. Same thing with Rick and
Yeah.
Morty. You have to have a certain intelligence level to properly enjoy it.
I would say so, but then I watch it, so the bar can't be that high.
It's not just because it's brain rot. That's not why a lot of people don't like it. It's because they can't appreciate the jokes.
Yeah, the full extent of this, like the genius, really.
Very similar moves on the lower end. Almost all of them are somewhere in that 20% range. And on the higher end, it goes somewhere around 80%, and the medium end is around the 40s to 50s. Very interesting. It moves in a rhyming pattern. This one is going to be not rhyming like the other ones, but it might actually on the short-term pauses. Like about 30-ish% on the short-term pause, 70-ish, 80-ish. All right, you saw it here first, folks. Bitcoin's going up 180%. This one, 9%, and then 69%. That's a nice number. And as of this moment, how much have we gone up? 23%, right along the lines of that minimum number. If we were to take it about 25, 30%, right around, 30% takes us to right around $100,000 and $200,000 and $3,000. Take it to that 40% area, roughly about $110,000, $111,000, and 70% to 80% brings us that 140 to 150 area. Gotta have my inner George calm down for a bit.
Thank you, George.
Weekly is also getting momentum to the upside, very close to breaking into the bullish control zone. Volatility as of this moment is still contracting, but once you get a close over specifically this wick high at around 95,871, likely you're going to get volatility support. And that should take you rather quickly up to this $106,000 level. Very likely we'll get some resistance around 105 to 106, probably even rejects the first tap round of 102s. Anywhere in this zone is going to be strong resistance. Once you start to reclaim 106, that's where you probably go really fast to new all-time highs. 2 week is also giving you the same signal in the jewel that the 5 day is, with the buy signal in the bearish control zone. I mean, weekly. 2 week is now flipping back up on momentum, getting back out of the bearish control zone. Volatility as of this moment is still contracting, but if you were to solidly close over this 38.2%, volatility is likely going to start expanding from there, and that takes you up towards the median at around $120,000. 120 comes up once again. Monthly as of this moment is below the moving average, but we have 29 days left to go. Anything could happen by that point. And as long as we close over about 95,871, likely is going to flip back to the upside and take us towards the median, which right now is at about $110,000. Very, very slightly new all-time highs. That would be the most entertaining outcome ever if we just go to that monthly median, ever so slightly new all-time high by a couple of $100, maybe $1,000 on new all-time high, and then pull a 2021 move and we start our bear market from there. That'd be funny as fuck. Quarterly, this is what gives bias towards the monthly flipping back up before it closes, is that quarterly is positioned to the upside at the reset point while volatility is coming to 0%. Last time we freshly flipped back quarterly was at the end of the sideways move of 2023, where we just went up only the initial setup.
Mm.
I will not be using that word in the Middle East.
No, please don't. And more than understandable. We don't want him to throw you a party.
Throw us a fiesta.
Exactly.
Tether dominance as of this moment still has active 3 drives of bearish divergence, and is going to be active as long as you're closing below about 5.85%. Wouldn't it be wonderful if this quarterly turns into a massive bearish engulfing and then sends Tether to 0? That'd be nice. I mean, you got your head and shoulders right here, and I do believe this is a negative target head and shoulders. Just for funsies, let's take it. Oh fuck. It's very interesting when people decide to send me Snapchats. I don't use that shit, and then I don't respond to them for several weeks, and then they get upset.
And everyone's upset at me. I don't respond even WhatsApps or text messages. I don't give a fuck. Fuck everyone having access to me. It's a real problem. It's a real problem.
Yeah. So they're gonna pay you to hold every single tether. Very nice.
That'd be really nice.
And your next target on that bearish divergence is this neutral zone, which right now sits at 3.5%. Monthly currently has active hidden bullish divergence, although it's just about to get invalidated. If you get a close below about 4.94%, that will invalidate, and that will give you a target of the neutral zone, which right now sits at 3.99%, very close to 3.5. So the weekly has now a fresh drive of bearish divergence, and it's going to be active as long as you're closing below 5.62%. Your next target is that neutral zone, which right now is at 2.68%, which is so close to a perfect number. Three-day has bearish divergence as long as you're below 5.21%. Next target is the bearish control zone at 4.66, not very much lower. 2-day also many drives of bearish divergence. It's going to be active as long as you're closing below 5.21%. You're already at the bearish control zone, so the critical zone is your next level, and that's at 2.94%. These are all quite insane dumpskis on Tether. And if you will notice, the daily has now freshly silver crossed. We have gotten to the downside. We have gotten a nice little retest of this 90 EMA, and now we are dumping. Our next, and we have several solid closes below this 200. We have a retest 100. We have a retest of the 100 and a rejection, which brings us down to the 200 at around 4.69%. Now we will shift over. We will switch gears to Bitcoin.
Wow.
So professional.
What a worldly man.
Quarterly still has 3 drives of hidden bullish divergence active. Came very close to invalidating it by coming below this wick low. But since now we came below this wick low, we have a very strong possibility of putting in a bullish engulfing on this quarterly. We have a month and 29 days left to go. If we close over what's going to be our all-time highs, about 109,354, we will put it in bullish engulfing on the quarterly, and that's going to send us to significantly new all-time highs. Probably not this critical zone number, but pretty high new all-time highs, because this number is at 526,000. This is like some fentanyl smoking number. I don't think that's going to happen, but it should be a lot higher than where we are now. Monthly is now very close to putting in a local bottom and invalidating this bearish divergence. It will invalidate it as long as you're closing above $95,871. And that likely sends us up at a minimum to the simple moving average, which right now is at about $140,000. Lines up with that 140s to 150s. Week 2 week has now confirmed a fresh drive of hidden bullish divergence, and it's going to be active as long as you're closing over 74,441. Your next target is the critical zone, which right now is not a very relevant level because it's so high up, but the number is sitting at 338. Probably going to update. Let's go to 3-day. 3-day still has active bullish divergence, whereas Tether has bearish divergence. It's a little easier to invalidate this bullish divergence. You'd have to close below 92.9, basically that $93,000 area. Very, very significant level of 93,000. Unlikely that you're going to invalidate this, though. Probably you're just going to go straight to the critical zone, which this level is going to update. I don't think it's going to go straight to this number, but that critical zone at this moment is at 188. I'm guessing this is going to go down significantly, maybe to like 120. 2-day. Fresh silver cross to the upside. Still have not gotten that retest. I still think we're probably going to get it, but it could be one of those things where price just goes up so much where it just draws a 90 EMA into price. 2-day has 3 drives of bullish divergence. Going to be active as long as you're above 92.9, same number as before. And your next move is into the critical zone, which is going to update, but right now it's at 171. Oh, 12-hour has a fresh drive of hidden bullish divergence off this higher low. Interesting. No wonder we're just going straight up. And this divergence will be active as long as you're closing above 93,069. Your next move is into the simple moving average, which right now is at 99,210. And the critical zone is at 127, which you're coming from zero volatility. So it is very likely that you would go to the critical zone. And the 4-hour, nothing on there. Now we go into momentum. We will switch gears once again. Uh-oh. We are switching gears with a gated manual shifter. We do things with class here. Quarterly is still pointed to the upside on momentum, getting into the critical zone. First time we've ever been into the critical zone in the quarterly in Bitcoin history, and we're pointed up as long as you're above $93,000. And this pivot went up 100%, which was scary for a little bit because we were below it. But now we've gone back above it, and all is fine and dandy in the world again. Monthly is now giving you a volatility setup. We're dancing right around that 15% area. We flipped up for a little bit, rejected the 15%, and flipped back down on volatility. And we're going to be pointed down as long as you're below $100,500. Which the significance of flipping above this area is this is going to be, I believe, the only time since 2017? Yeah, 2017 was the only time that we flipped down the critical zone and then flipped back up. Which in the 2021 cycle, we flipped down the critical zone, flipped back up, made a lower high in momentum, slightly higher high on price action, and then flipped back down once again. So it would be very significant if we can close this month over $100,500, because that'll take us towards 2017, where we made another high. Then our second high was significantly higher high. That was our blow off top, and then the bear market started. Which that would probably take us somewhere around $150,000 or $160,000. If George is right, 200 to 250.
Those are the conservative estimates, of course, right?
Yeah, of course.
Got it.
The more realistic numbers is about $3 million by end of year.
Ah, okay. Got it. Okay.
And then the bullish numbers is about 17 trillion per Bitcoin.
By the end of the year, of course.
Yeah.
And by the way, if anyone's listening to us, I hope you guys know that's sarcasm and that we're just having fun. Because if not, man, you got to go to the doctor and check your sarcasm anus. It's not working properly.
$17 trillion per Bitcoin? Now with my 0.005 Bitcoin, I'll be a millionaire.
A quadrillionaire.
2 week is also giving us that volatility setup. And 2 week is now just around the edge of flipping back up. And it will flip up if we can close the next 9 days and 8 hours over $99,950. Let's say $100,000. If we can flip up here, the significance of this is going to be maintaining the bullish control zone. And that'll give us a target of hitting the critical zone, which should probably give us quite the girthy green dildo. That's going to give us one of these girthy green dildos that enters into the critical zone. And this was a move up of about like 67. That's a $30,000 candle. Weekly is already positioned to the upside, and we will remain up, and we're flipping from a very low area. We will remain up as long as you're above $80,700. 5 days also to the upside. Now it's entering into the critical zone with bullish control zone with volatility support, and it will be flipped up as long as you're above $78,800. 2 days also flipped up, and it's going to remain up as long as you're above 95,550. 95.5, very important. 5 days, daily, why did I say 5 days? Daily is also positioned to the upside, flipping freshly back to the upside, and it will be flipped up above $96,000. And now 4 hours freshly positioned to the upside, and it's going to remain up above $96,000, let's say $97,000. So now all of the high time frames are basically fully in bulls control now, where momentum on the quarterly is once again was always to the upside, but now we're once again above the pivot. the monthly is close to flipping back up. 2 week is close to flipping back up, basically telling you once you reclaim that $100,000 area, you're likely back onto full up only, and probably going to go up to somewhere around that median around $120,000. Probably pull back there, and it's probably eventually higher. I was thinking at first we would get a pullback into that 2-day silver cross, the 9 EMA, but it is looking like we're probably going to do that later rather than sooner, and probably go up to somewhere around that $100,000 level, maybe 102. And then from there, maybe we get that pullback and we can test that 9 EMA on the 2-day, complete that silver cross, and then around that the bull moon, which is 2 weeks from April 27th, that's when I think the real move is going to happen. And the invalidation on all of this is getting a daily close below $93,000, so 92.9 to be specific. You get a close below 92.9 on the daily, then you're probably going to break into somewhere around mid to high 80s, and likely do bounce there and go to highs from there, unless you lose around $81,000, and then you're probably going to break below 60. But as of right now, I am leaning towards going to somewhere around 100 to 102 pullback, maybe somewhere around 92, 93,000, and then from there I would expect to hit new all-time highs.
All right, we got Tesla and Roblox right after. Sirs.
Already, I got Tesla.
Dunzo. Vale, vamos a ver Bitcoin, damas y caballeros, que Scottie Pippen, así es, el ex compañero de Michael Jordan, nos dijo que se iba a ir a $102,000. ¿Por qué dice $102,000? Si se fijan en esta zona donde tengo mi mouse, déjenme me acerco un poco más para que sea más evidente. Pueden ver esto, está justamente en 102,252. Por eso Scottie Pippen tiene su siguiente objetivo en ese lugar. Ahora, ¿vamos a continuar subiendo o no? Hasta ahora todo parece que sí. Honestamente, todo se ve bastante bien en este buen rebote. Todo nos está mandando para arriba y hay pocas cosas que nos preocupan, pero hay cosas que tenemos que mantener en mente, sabiendo que podría simplemente darse la vuelta a esto, tener un rechazo y vámonos para abajo y no llegar a altos históricos. La pregunta es, ¿vamos a altos históricos o no? La respuesta, si lo estamos viendo en varias temporalidades, tiene cara de que puede. Tiene cara de que puede. Por supuesto, vamos a empezar con la trimestral, donde sabemos perfectamente y estamos viendo que esta es nuestra vela hasta el momento más gorda que ha habido en la historia de Bitcoin. Si podemos cerrar esta vela por encima de los 93,303, esta va a ser la vela, el cierre más alto trimestral en toda la historia de Bitcoin. Aunque todavía falta un mes, 29 días para poder acabar esto. Estamos cotizando en 97,715 en este momento y hemos tenido un máximo de 97,948 en esta vela. Vamos a ver si podemos continuar y romper a la alza. Va a ser algo que estemos al pendiente. Volatilidad está expandiendo y una vez más ya no está volteando para abajo, está expandiendo una vez más con fuerza y esa fuerza nos lleva a la expansión que ocurrió acá y eso nos debería de estar empujando aún más para arriba. Por ahora eso es lo que tiene cara de. Estamos por encima de nuestro promedio del 5 que está en los $81,000, muy por encima del 9. Eso quiere decir que está en postura alcista. Poniéndoles el HPDR en la trimestral, que honestamente podemos ver que la parte alta del HPDR, porque estamos justamente rebotando en los 88,000, que es donde está la media, nos debería dar una probabilidad alta de ir a la parte alta de la zona azul, que está en $113,000, y eso sería un alto histórico nuevo. Es bastante, esto es probable. Esto sí es probable, los $113,000. Hay gente diciendo, todavía las mamadas que dicen, ¿no? 180, $200,000 para fin de año. Eso me cuesta mucho trabajo verlo. Ok. Por ahora, mensual, estamos a punto de llegar a la media está en los 99,751 y esto me recuerda, aquí es donde va a estar la resistencia más importante del precio de Bitcoin, en los $99,000 antes de los 100,000, porque no sé cuántos de ustedes se acuerden cuánto tiempo tardamos en llegar a los 100,000 y cuántos debates tuvimos, vamos a llegar a 100, nos va a tirar antes de los 100, estamos en 98, 99 y estaba a punto de tocar. Es por eso que pasando aquí de los 100,000 para arriba, siguiente objetivo va a ser sencillo, 107 y de ahí serían 125. Ahora eso para mí no es tan probable, aunque esto podría ser el tope de lo probable, llamémoslo así, en los $125,000. Por ahora estás por encima del promedio del 5, encima del promedio del 9 y todos los demás. Lo único que te falta llevarte es la media una vez más en los 99,000. Estamos hablando de una tabla mensual. Además de eso, estamos viendo que nuestra volatilidad continúa ese viaje para abajo, continúa contrayendo. Es interesante, sobre todo viendo el movimiento tan agresivo que está dando el precio y no está expandiendo esto para apoyarlo. Vamos a mantener un ojo bastante pegadito acá para ver cuándo expande la volatilidad por encima del promedio. Y vamos a ver si continúa cayendo, nos da uno de esos buenos setups por debajo, el 15%, y después explota a la alza, o si simplemente lo va a hacer aquí para la alza y ver a dónde nos lleva ese movimiento. Por ahora, interesante solamente esto. Los 99, una vez más, los $100,000 va a ser una barrera dura una vez más para pasar. Y si no lo es, vaya, bien, pero si ya pasó una vez, no tiene por qué no pasar otra vez. Podemos ver que nuestra media está doblándose y está volteándose para acercarse a esta línea meme en diagonal, pero ahora coincide con nuestro alto histórico en los 109,252. Esta es la media de 2 semanas. Por fin estamos por encima del 5 y el 9. El 5 está por encima del 9, recuperando una vez más esto y demostrando un poco de fuerza. Esto estando por encima del 38.2%, que es básicamente $92,000. Debería haber una muy buena probabilidad, un 50% de probabilidad de ir al 109, que es donde está la media. Ya ahí veremos si la podemos romper a la alza o no. Pero una vez más, estás viendo ese movimiento agresivo, volatilidad no lo está acompañando, volatilidad por debajo del 15%, está en 4.37%, el promedio ya también por debajo del 15%. Pero interesante que no esté empujando la volatilidad del precio a la alza, porque si está empujando así, ¿por qué la volatilidad no está detrás de él? Eso quiere decir que nos va a dar un super pump o un super dump, pero todavía no sabemos. Ahora, esto tiene confluencia con nuestra trimestral. ¿Por qué? Porque estamos viendo la semanal. En la semanal tenemos la parte alta de la zona azul justamente en los 99,473, que es donde tenemos nuestra media en la mensual y es donde tenemos una gran resistencia técnica. Simplemente volteando a ver esta vela, lo puedes notar junto con esta primera que llegó acá. Esa resistencia técnica en los $100,000 es también resistencia de sentido común, porque costó trabajo poder pasar esos $100,000. Así que aquí vamos a estar pendiente de poder romper los 99,000, los 100,000 nos debería llevar al 61.8%. Eso nos pone en 111,858. Si no, al 78.6% en 125, una vez más, que nos regresa al objetivo en la en la mensual, pero nuestro 88.3% ya se sale de lo que es posible, en mi opinión, por ahí de los $140,000, aunque hemos visto cosas más raras y extrañas pasar en este planeta. En la semanal también tenemos volatilidad contrayendo después de esta expansión. Esta expansión fue la que nos dio este movimiento hasta acá. Eso quiere decir que esta expansión en realidad no tuvo nada de resolución y nos dejó básicamente por acá. Vamos a ver si podemos romper esos $100,000 a la alza y de no, pues de esperar un rechazo, podríamos ver un buen retroceso. Se metió una pestaña en el ojo. No, me voy a volver loco. 3 días, ya estamos por encima del 50% y siguiente objetivo deberían de ser los $100,000 en el 61.8%. Zona a no perder, los 93,882. De ahí iríamos a visitar la media y se pondría interesante la cosa. Esto es la de 3 días. Además, tienes volatilidad aquí, sí expandió con este subidongo. Lo pueden ver justamente acá. Este subidongo sí fue sponsoreado traído a ti por la volatilidad y está a punto de... No, continúa. El siguiente objetivo de esta volatilidad debería ser 80%, que es un 8% más. Interesante. Vamos a mantener un ojillo por ahí a ver qué es lo que se da en esa situación diaria. Aquí lo pueden ver perfecto. Igual, la parte alta del HPDR está por ahí de los $99,000, el 50% en los 100,000. Por ahora, estando por encima de la media, que justamente coincide con nuestra línea meme y también nuestro promedio del 5 por acá en los 95. Deberíamos de seguir y dar continuación a los 90 y casi 99. De los 99, pues ya será llegar a los 100. De los 100 sería fácil llegar a los 102. Por ahora, esto es lo que tenemos. Ahí les va. Esperaríamos un retroceso para poder entrar, porque esta fue una zona importante para romper. Lo pueden ver porque apenas lo acaba de romper. rompes el retroceso a esta línea en los 94, 95, es donde tendríamos una entrada gratis en long para dar continuación e ir a ver si llegamos a los 99, a los 100, a los 102 o a los 107. Eso sería el primer paso. De el otro lado, de perder los $93,000, los 92. Los 92 sería para abajo. Encima de eso, todavía seguimos postura. Bueno, ahora estamos en postura alcista por este movimiento. Vamos a llegar a altos históricos. Vayan por sus niveles. Lo tienen justamente acá. Siguiente nivel va a ser por acá en los 102, pero el primero a vencer en verdad van a ser los 100. Si rompes los 100, te está dando casi pistas de que vas a ir a los 102 gratis. Eso sería una apuesta que yo haría. Por ahora esperemos un retroceso, aunque Bitcoin ha estado bastante acelerado en sus breakouts, bastante, ¿cómo se dice? Agresivo para no dejar a la gente subirse en longs ni tampoco en cortos. Entonces Bitcoin continúa empujando por ahora, es viernes. Si esto continúa hoy, yo me imagino que para el fin de semana, para el domingo, vamos a estar mucho más arriba. Pero cualquier cosa y el primer nivel a perder serían los 94,800. Si pierdes los 94,800, empezaría yo a ponerme la pregunta por delante de qué más podría pasar. Y de ahí llegas a barrer los 92,000 para abajo. Uf, prepárate. La última esperanza para los alcistas sería que los 88, 87 nos aguanten y de ahí completamente explotar a la alza. De perder la zona de los 88 estás frito, porque eso te debería llevar a hacer nuevos mínimos. Este fue un alto más bajo que este en los 99,400, lo pueden ver acá. Y aquí hay un trade en corto muy sencillo también, más que el long en donde te puedes meter. Y Ramón me preguntó que si el long estaba todavía activo en el Discord. Sí, señor. Pues seguimos subiendo, ¿no? ¿Por qué no? Estando donde estamos, tienes una posibilidad de hacer un corto bastante sencilla. Puedes empezar justo en los 98,348, intentar los 98,849 y tu rango para estar mal va a estar aquí arriba, que es 99,577. Normalmente estas zonas te dan un rebote, no importa lo que sea. Ahora, si el precio simplemente hace esto, pues bueno, güey, ya nos chingó y se lleva tu stop loss. Pero normalmente en este tipo de zonas que se dan este tipo de oportunidades, mínimo el precio va a ir a chocarla primero, a engañar a todo el mundo de que no lo va a pasar y después esto. Aquí es donde podrías vender ese corto si es que se llega a dar, no buscando tanto, tal vez planeándolo más como un scalping, un trade de scalping, más corto plazo, más apalancamiento con una muy, muy sencilla invalidación. Valdría la pena, pues es aventar un volado, quieren apostar. Esto es para los degenerados, absolutamente. Para la gente conservadora y con cerebro, queremos esperar el retroceso por ahí de los 95 y de ahí poder continuar a los 99. Ese sería lo ideal. Ahí lo tienen, damas y caballeros. Bitcoin. Vámonos con Tesla. ¿Cómo de que no?
Roblox.
Sí. Oh, Roblox.
Yes. Row of the blocks.
Yes.
It's actually
Robert Lux.
Let me see here. Let's go to the weekly here. So Roblox is looking quite nice to me. Is this the SMA 200? I guess it is. We essentially had this false breakdown here. False breakdown because you did lose support. You went down. You front ran the weekly EMA 100. And at that point, you got back within this support, which is $53.36. But most importantly, you got back within these moving averages, because what you're going to notice is the weekly EMA 34 was solid support. I mean, even here on this dump down, this move essentially led up before a rejection, of course, 17%. So, getting back within that EMA 34 put us within that range. Next target being the 9, which was coming in right around that $60 region. And what you'll notice is, that was essentially right around that last weekly lower high. So once we took that out, which is drawn here, it's right at $63.78. We broke out. And so this breakout now is legitimate to me. We see even on this weekly, we back tested the 38.2%, the weekly EMA 9, and even the 2-week EMA 9 perfectly back tested it. Now we have some time before this closes, but as it stands, specifically on the weekly, this is looking like a very valid breakout to me. And next target from this point should be around $78 before finding resistance. That is important because $78, if we go to the monthly, to me, $78 is quite important because it just plays into, this is now in a confirmed uptrend on the monthly. Going up to 78 will give us that monthly higher high. And then, you're at extremes on the monthly. You should be gauging a pullback to the monthly 9, meaning this can go all the way down to potentially $60.80 to $61 for that next monthly higher low. And you would be gauging that either on the monthly 9 or the monthly 5, right? You have some ranges here, right? So the monthly 5, let's analyze it. Monthly 5 has been quite important. You see here that we've been holding it pretty nicely when we do start trending bullish, as evident here, where we're holding above it. Let me turn the 9 off, so now you can see it easier. Lost it, went to the 9, and then bounced off the 21. So with this 9 moving up, it's just supporting price, meaning the higher we go up, the more this EMA 5 is going to move up and actually hit price. For me, next objective is $78. I don't see at this point why we wouldn't hit that. And that is around the extreme. So
Did you lose your internet?
Yeah.
I think so.
no, I'm more.
Mine is working.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
Certain as well. And wait, it might be the Wi-Fi actually.
Do you have your VPN on?
You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we can hear you.
Do you have a VPN on? So I had to make sure to turn mine off.
No. Put my hotspot on though. I guess the house Wi-Fi isn't good. 1 second.
Okay.
You would think for such a nice place they would put in some decent Wi-Fi.
That is one of the biggest bummers in modern society. When you go to like really nice places and their fucking internet is shit. Like how?
Yeah, I don't understand. I would assume Dubai would have seamless internet, but it's fine. The SIM that I'm paying for, that's the main reason, so I can have hotspot anywhere. So it should be good to go now. So essentially, this breakout is looking quite legitimate to me. It looks like Roblox is going to just move on to $78. Most likely find resistance being a higher high and at monthly extremes. You should be engaging specifically the daily 9. That's important, just simply based on the silver cross that has occurred on the daily. Now, we are at almost extreme levels here on volatility. So with that move up to $78, you could very well see this actually hit extremes before coming down. So, you'd have, more things pointing to up. But $78, specifically $77, $77.80 to $78 should be solid resistance. And then, even as a bull, it's kind of like Bitcoin. If you moved up to here, you would want this to get tested, right around that $66.91, just simply based on the daily 9. And we haven't really flirted with this zone. It's a pretty big zone. This line is what marks our moves majorly down or up. Above it gives us a major move up, and under it makes us go down. So, as long as we're above $67, basically, this is really looking good to go to 78. To me now, let's look at the daily HPDR because it looks like it's just in the process of going to 78, but let's see. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you are at somewhat of resistance here. Let's go to the 2-day. Give us some data, more data. Okay, so this looks a little better. Even on this view here, next zone being 75.60, right at that all-time high rejection. Okay, interesting. What the heck? Okay, a little laggy on Trading View. So yeah, I mean, looking very strong, looking valid to go to 78s. These highs don't look safe to me. These highs look like they're going to get run. I mean, bears are essentially looking for this price divergence here, but you know, you're not going to hold too much weight when we're just in the process of breaking out on a weekly and 2-week. You know, I have the 15-day. That's interesting. I think that's from you, Alondra, actually. 15-day. Why not?
15-day.
Yeah.
It's a clean
but even
chart.
here, it is a clean chart because you see it. I mean, it's just playing into what I'm saying, which is from this point, most likely going to go up. You're going to go around the $77 to $78 region. And that is shown on this 15-day. So, you know, in summary, Roblox is looking actually quite nice. Monthly is still in an uptrend. And did it ever break the uptrend? No, it never did. And something to note on this is it never even lost the monthly 9. You know, from the beginning of when this rally really started, we've just been solidly above the monthly 9. So, you know, with this now basically brewing a higher high on the monthly, we don't long monthly higher highs. You can easily range trade this, get daily closures above this. You can start targeting 93. Very similar, worked out well in this range. But until then, now you're gauging simply a pullback. So now you're on either short watch, trying to short, you know, 78, catching an easy scalp, but I wouldn't recommend that. I would rather than just wait on your hands, wait for a rejection down, try to play the monthly higher low, which most likely comes in around the monthly 9. The monthly 9 now is solidly moving up. It's at right at the meme line at $60.50. Very likely it moves up, or we bottom at the EMA 5. This is important because the EMA 5 looks like it's getting front ran. And by the next month, this very well could be right at that $67 mark, solidifying this being major support. And we honestly haven't been above this 67 area since we went on this all-time high tear. You know, from the $67 point, you know, we essentially went up 100%. So, you know, it makes sense that we're looking very bullish at this point. It's wiser to be gauging, you know, more upside than down. And I would be gauging 78 to be the next stop for the higher low. And you either form that on the daily or you get a deeper pullback and get that on the 2-week and the monthly. But as it stands now, this is just looking like it's about to make a new high and take basically the February high out. So GG, I mean, if you've been playing this, if you've bought it, if you've been bullish on it, you know, and this is why, again, I like just playing the moving averages because, you know, this on the weekly EMA 100 was a big spot. Now, I think we talked about this on stream, very minimal data with this, but with the data we have and, you know, it was quite important to gauge it. So the front run on this was legit. And I mean, from this point now, we've gone up 46%. So, you know, it's just nice to kind of know exactly what to look at. But overall, it's looking very bullish, and I would be expecting essentially as long as 67 holds now, we should be going up to 78, find slight resistance there, and slowly move on to the 90s again. That seems just really probable to me, specifically when we are in a monthly uptrend, and we just saw a major hammerhead into last month's candle. This was a very strong buyback. I mean, it's very rare to even get follow through immediately. Now, it's still a long month, of course, but you just got essentially an immediate reaction from this meme line of 10%. It's very rare not to even fill that out. I would have said we're probably going to go to the 5 first. So it just shows me that bulls are in pretty strong control here. And gauging a move up to 78s before a move down is most likely wise. Now 78 gets reclaimed even on like a weekly close, and that's when things really start shifting for Roblox, and we can really start considering going to the 94s at minimum, all the way up potentially to 103. So you're now within this new range, $77.70 being resistance and $67 being support. Until you either get this or this, you're just sitting on your hands. So you don't trade this zone. So
nice and easy. Nice and easy. Thank you, sir. We'll do Tesla in a second then. Roblox, la empresa de videojuegos más perra del planeta. Aquí lo tienen, damas y caballeros, buscando otra vez esos altos históricos justamente acá. En la última sesión donde analizamos Roblox, habíamos dicho que una vez que Roblox pudiera pasar de justamente esta línea meme en diagonal, iba a tener un buen movimiento a la alza. ¿Y qué fue lo que vimos? Justamente eso. La única cosa fue predatorio. ¿Por qué? Porque tienes una vela, esto es un gráfico diario, tienes esta vela que cierra por encima y luego tienes esta otra que también, este fue el retesteo de la línea, pero fue muy rápido y después esta vela no vino ni cerca ni tampoco y ya después de ahí tuviste ese potente breakout a la alza. Además, en la diaria ya también pueden ver por acá un buen cruce plateado. Y eso nos está llevando literalmente a Roblox a estar en 73.08. Me pongo el gráfico mensual para que tengan una buena idea de lo que estamos viendo desde lejos. Es básicamente esto, la zona de consolidación antes de dar un chingadazo a la alza con fuerza. De poder romper esta resistencia en 73.58, yo creo que Roblox va a tener una gran probabilidad de ir a los $83 primero y de ahí encontrarse, y aquí es donde yo pondría básicamente un poco más para abajo, acá, es donde pondría esto exactamente así. Ese sería mi siguiente objetivo, 83, donde va a encontrar fricción el precio, pero una vez arriba de los 83 debería ir a altos históricos. Vimos cómo si nos acercamos un poco más en Roblox, para empezar, volatilidad no nos está dando absolutamente nada. Vamos a la de 2 semanas a ver si hay algo más cercano por acá. Volatilidad está contrayendo, todavía nada por 26%, nada de qué escribirle a Papá Noel. Por ahora, estamos viendo nuestro belongo por acá, dando exactamente la pelea que estaríamos buscando. Este gran movimiento de cuando llegamos a tocar los $50 hasta literalmente los 73. Ese es un movimiento bastante agresivo, sobre todo considerando la poca cantidad de velas que requirió. Estás hablando ya de un 45% para arriba. Y es lo que decíamos, ¿no? Cuando todo el mundo estaba de la recesión. Güey, busca tus acciones favoritas, ve dónde vas a entrar en ellas y compra. Y ahora, si no entran todas tus entradas y el mercado subió, pues qué chido, compraste lo más barato de lo barato, ¿no? Y después puedes ver en dónde más meterle otra vez. Pero por ahora es justamente lo que está jugando. Estamos ante el rebote de la primera caída y vamos a ver si podemos romper este máximo en los 75-74. De poder romper el 75-74, vas a tener un vuelo gratis a los $83. Eso va a ser lo primero que tienes que hacer. Ya tenemos este breakout bien hecho, bien identificado. Vamos a la semanal. Semanal tiene esta volatilidad expandiendo, pero no claramente. O sea, no puedo darle el beneficio de esta. No, ¿lo ven? Esta sería un nuevo periodo de expansión, es lo que yo diría, y es la última, y ahí lo tienen. Continúa expandiendo en el 42.13% y empujando a la alza. Voy a poner el HPDR rápido, aunque en este tipo de tablas es bastante difícil. Pueden ver que estamos ya en una zona bastante alta. En la zona estamos en el 78.6%. Normalmente Roblox se cansa en donde, justamente ahí en el 70 y tantos %. Sí, literalmente esta es de las zonas más altas en las que llega Roblox antes de dar un retroceso. Si viéramos un retroceso acá, ¿Qué esperaríamos? Primero que nos aguante nuestra línea meme en los 66. Sería lo más bonito de todo. Sería un movimiento perfecto. Que venga acá técnico y vámonos para arriba. Lo mismo aplica en la parte alta de la zona azul que están viendo donde está el promedio del 9 en los $63. Entre 63 y $66 es donde podríamos encontrar el rebote para hacer un mínimo más alto y continuar. Voy a acercarme a la diaria. Diaria estamos en extremos por acá, lo pueden ver, y justamente estos extremos llegaron acá. ¡Ja! Interesante, ¿no? Y ahora con eso dicho, acá estamos en el 88.3%, que es normalmente donde todo topa, por lo que estamos agregando la parte alta de la zona azul, justamente con mi línea meme en los 66, es donde coinciden y es lo que nosotros esperaríamos. Ahora, más fácil, no se puede. A la verga, más fácil no se puede. Esta zona estamos un poco bastante sobrecomprados. No me sorprendería si vemos un retroceso a los 66 y de ahí nuevo alto histórico. Ya se los dije, lo primero que van a tener que vencer son estos 76, 74, 76 o cuánto fue, 75, 74 para poder ir a los 83, pero aquí no me sorprendería un retroceso a los 66 o hasta la zona donde está el promedio del 21, que también coincide con este fondillo por acá. También podría ser la siguiente zona para ese rebote. Ahora, de perder justamente esta zona en los 63 y llegar a los 60, eso probablemente me dice que vamos a ir a buscar a poner un mínimo más alto acá o un mínimo más bajo acá. Bastante fácil se las dejé, señores. Vámonos con Tesla. Eso fue Roblox para todos ustedes. Vamos a ver Tesla.
Vámonos, Tesla.
Vámonos, señor.
Alrighty. We will
And
do
I'm gonna
the
have to stop
weekly
after this. I've been sitting here for a while. My fucking hernia is killing me.
Didn't you get that? That's what do you call it? Operated on?
No, I'm gonna need. It's a new one, so I'm gonna have to get another surgery.
Oh damn, you're a hernia machine.
I had them all along, but they weren't bad. Like this one wasn't bad, but fuck, it's bad now. I'm dying.
I've had one hernia when I was 6 in the groin area, and they operated on it, removed it. Never had an issue again.
Good for you. Not this guy. Not this guy.
But now I'm getting issues with my knees and my back.
Welcome to old age.
Now, with Tesla, we're getting a close in about 3 hours. And if we do close like this, I would say it's more long-term bullish, but short-term bearish, because this is a hanging man candle, and I would expect most, if not all, of this wick to get filled. And I'd expect one more move into testing this meme line. And if it holds it, like I would expect to move back up to test somewhere around this mid 300 zone in the breakdown. But if you start to lose this area, and what's going to tell you're going to lose it if you get even a tick below this wick low at around $270.78. Get a single tick below there, then this is going to be more of a long-term local top, and you're probably going to come back down to retest this 200. And at that point, I'm going to be thinking that we're probably going to break down and probably break these lows. Right now, for the more bullish scenario, it's getting a close somewhere like this, ideally over the 21, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And then one more move into this meme line, use this meme line and this 5 EMA as a spring to go back up to go up and break this what do you call it, 200 and like or $300 resistance and break into like the 350s. Right now, it does seem like it's going to be more long-term bullish, but more short-term bearish. And it does line up with momentum getting into the edge of the bullish control zone, with volatility still in the contraction phase. So if we do get a close over the 21, then you likely will get momentum breaking into the bullish control zone with volatility expansion. But if you continue to reject the 21, this is likely going to reject the bullish control zone, flip back around here to the reset zone, and then flip up from there, which will line up with one more move into that meme line. Right now on the weekly, Tesla is giving a buy signal on the jewel and is doing it within the bearish control zone. This is marked with a vertical line. Tesla buy signals on the jewel within the bearish control zone. Right there. Right there. And at the very least, you should get respectable bounces. That one doesn't really count. And we'll stop it there, June of 2019. Let's see how much of a move we got. Well, quite large. We went up immediately about 26.5%, and then then 71%, sideways a little bit, and 360%. They need to bring on the next investors call, bring in the Yilong Ma guy, and we'll probably get a 360% move.
The Chinese guy?
Yeah.
I'm here, I'm not. That one, right?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Iran Ma. If he starts out the call instead of Elon, oh man, perfection.
That's it. We're going to the moon, boys. We're going to the fucking moon.
Seems to be a 40s, very simpler move. $73. How much is it on the higher end? Let's see. 138. Tesla likes these wild swings. Immediately about 40. Similar number, 88 to 47. And as of this moment, we are up 22%. Take it around 40%. Brings us right to around that 340s to 350s area. Wonderfully fitting my bias. And then if we take it about 80%, brings us right above this top meme line at around $400-ish, which is my bias if we can get any type of weekly close over about $350. Let's give you the exact number. About 360, 270. 2 week is now also getting also flipping back up in momentum while volatility contracts, coming from a very extreme area. And if you look on the HPDR, we went all the way to the 97.5%. So it still makes sense to continue bouncing from here. And if you can get over that $300 resistance, that gives you that higher move into somewhere around that $350-ish towards $378 zone. Still technically bearish as long as below that 38.2%. Once you start to reclaim that 38.2%, that's what takes you to your all-time highs. Right now, the jewel, on the other hand, on the bearish hopium side, is about to give you a pretty amazing sell signal with the pink crossing below the yellow. And you likely, at the very least, get a dump out of there. Even if we're not going to break these lows, that cross likely does give you a move to the downside. But that probably also, looking at the HPDR doesn't happen until the HPDR ranges step down. Because then if they don't step down, there's not really that much room left here to go down. Plus, we're already at very extreme lows on momentum. Monthly is trying to flip back up from the reset point, just below the moving average, while volatility approaches 0%. And we are just above that monthly median. Medians are currently at $283.39. If we get a close over there, that's going to give us at a minimum move to the 38.2%. But likely higher. Last time we got a close over the median, we went all the way up to the 78.6%. Let's see another close over the median right here. We went up to 61.8%. See, close over the median right here. We went up to 61.8%. So 61.8% seems to be the move. And that's right at the top of this meme line, right around $414. Oh, forgot the jewel. And the monthly jewels currently in a more long-term bullish posturing, where if we can't flip around here, we will maintain this pink crossing above the yellow, and then we should get a move into the bullish control zone. That would line up with us closing over the median. Quarterly is also flipping back up on momentum, just about to get back over the moving average, rejecting the bearish control zone, and volatility is now declining while we have a quarterly buy signal on the jewel. leaning more towards the bullish scenario playing out. And we are also putting in hidden bullish divergence on the jewel. Very interesting. Lines up with us getting back over this 38.2%, which if we can close over that 38.2%, that will take us to our current all-time highs right around $487. And it lines up with that buy signal. Let's go to the moment in the RSI. Ding. Where is it? Fuck. Quarterly still has active hidden bullish divergence on Tesla. Just like Bitcoin came very close to invalidating it, but now that we've came below this candle, we have possibility of putting in bullish engulfing. Although on Tesla, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to put in that bullish engulfing because you're going to have to close over $439.74. A little difficult. But as of now, we still have that divergence active, and your next target on the divergence is going to be the simple moving average rate, which right now sits at about a lot higher than where we are at the moment, $560. That number very likely updates. 2 week. Weekly currently put in another drive of hidden bullish divergence off that last weekly close. And it's going to be active as long as you're closing above 229.79. And your next move is the edge of the bearish control zone, which right now sits at about 331. 5-day also confirmed in many drives of hidden bullish divergence. As long as you are above 229.79, your next move is into the neutral zone, which right now is at 406. Likely updates. Would be nice to see it at 350. 2-day has a single drive of bullish divergence. Oh, my alert just went off, crossing below 97,200 on Bitcoin. And the divergence is going to be active as long as you're closing above $270.78. And your next move is into the bullish control zone at about $367. Very bias fitting. Let me switch down to daily. Daily currently has active hidden bullish divergence. Going to be active as long as you're closing above $279.81. And your next move is into the critical zone, which is right now a little high. Going to update about $600. Let's see, 4 hour. 4 hour doesn't really have anything. Now let's check the momentum. All right, Tesla. 6 month is freshly turning back. Oh fuck! Freshly turning back to the upside on momentum, and it is going to be flipped up as long as you're above $185.60. And what we confirmed whenever we flip back up is we went below all of these lows while putting in a massively low, higher low, giving us hidden bullish divergence on the 6 month. Quite large. First time we've ever had hidden bullish divergence ever on Tesla 6 month. Quarterly is also flipping to the, it's still pointed down, but we're above the pivot. And if we close this next month in 29 days over $229.20, we will flip to the upside and also put hidden bullish divergence on the quarterly, just like the 6 month, which is already confirmed. Monthly is still pointed pretty heavily to the downside, but volatility is contracting, which is hopium, and we are pointed down below 426. And once we get a little bit lower, we'll come to the edge of the bearish control zone, and this pivot should come down. 2 week is also pointed to the downside, getting right to the edge of the critical zone, and it's going to be pointed down below 322.15. Weekly is now flipped up, and it's going to remain up above 245. 5-day is also pointed up, and it's going to remain up above 250. 2-day is pointed up. It's about to enter into the critical zone with volatility support, and it's going to be pointed up above 233. What we'd really like to see is get a 2-day close over this 55 EMA and validate the silver cross, and then we can get a nice move into that 350s. Daily is also pointed to the upside, getting right to the edge though, getting right around that resistance of that 200 and 100. If you can get a close over that area, should get that nice move into 350. But we are going to remain up on the daily as long as we're closing above 287.60. I think this is, well, no, freshly flipping back up. Interesting. 4 hours freshly flipped back up within the critical zone. A flipping back up in the critical zone should give us that move into that 200, which is around $330. And we will remain to the upside as long as we're above $291.60. So the high time frames are now starting to lean more toward the bullish side on Tesla. It does kind of seem like the local bottom is in. The 6 month has freshly turned back to the upside, putting in hidden bullish divergence. The quarterly is very close to turning back to the upside. The significance would be rejecting the bearish control zone. It would also put in hidden bullish divergence. And because the 6 month has already confirmed it, makes it a lot more likely the quarterly will confirm it. The monthly is still pointed heavily to the downside, but we are approaching the bearish control zone. And in that area, the pivot should very likely drop, and the 3 month and the 6 month will likely bleed into the monthly. 2 week is also very close to flipping down and flipping back up. And if our target currently does play out where we have that 200 SMA, which is around 330s, it will flip the 2 week back up. Weekly and everything below there is to the upside. Even 4 hours now freshly flipping back up. Does seem like we're going to go to somewhere around $330, maybe reject the first tap around, and then go towards 350s to 360s. If we can get a daily close over $350, that's what's going to tell me that we're probably going to go towards somewhere around 400 to 430. And from there, probably reject the first tap around, and then we'd probably go to all-time highs. But as of right now, the level I am watching to break to the upside is about 350 to get a clear breakout to the upside back to 400s, and to the downside, a move below about 214, and then we're likely going to break down below $200 and heavily below $200, maybe even to the low 100s. But I'm not leaning towards that happening. I am leaning more towards the move up.
Yes, we would. Yes, well, fuck it. Fuck it. All righty, boys.
Like our great President Barack Obama says, yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Hey, Big Mike, come over here. Tell Americans everywhere. It just shows up with a big dick. Thank you, boys. You basically are done. Enjoy your Friday. Get out there and, well, it's nighttime there. It's Saturday, no?
9 p.m. It's Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, enjoy whatever's left of your Friday and your Saturday.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, boys. Have a good one.
Buenas tardes or buenas tardes and hasta luego.
There you go. Estamos viendo Tesla en la diaria. Es justamente lo que habíamos visto antes. Si estoy solamente viendo esto, hasta ahora, tiene mucha cara que podamos, de que hayamos encontrado un fondo. Ahora, no sé, se me hizo demasiado fácil, no entiendo cómo puede ser posible, ¿no? Pero también tienes esta estructurona por acá, un hombro, cabeza, hombro, inverso, y eso es alcista, y yo diría que básicamente el breakout es por encima de, voy a ponerlo encima de la línea de los 2.99, tal cual los tenía acá. Lo que les había dicho en la última, el último análisis que hicimos de Tesla, arriba de 300 para arriba, abajo de 250, vamos a 214 y de ahí si te rompes los 214 para abajo. Por ahora estamos aguantando justamente donde está la incertidumbre. Déjenme borro esto para que lo puedan ver bien. Ahora, aquí ya estoy en 35%. ¿No? De ganancias. Estamos hablando de algo atractivo, porque ponte tú solo con $1 millón. $1 millón metidos acá. A donde estás ahorita son 33, son $330,000. Con solamente este movimiento, o sea, no tiene sentido alguno. Y eso es si le metiste $1 millón, obviamente, pero es para que tengan una idea de lo grande que es este movimiento. ¿Y qué estamos viendo? Estamos ante el promedio de los 200 y el 100 y nos sigue rechazando, cabrón. Nos sigue rechazando. Pero por ahora, estos altos, estos máximos, son más altos que los pasados. Y además, este fue tu mínimo más bajo. Este es un mínimo más bajo, lo que nos pone una tendencia temporalmente alcista, pero no puedo llamarla a eso hasta que pasemos el 100 y el 200, ¿ok? Quiero empezar este análisis con el mes, después de darles esa perspectiva. Mensual, continuamos por debajo del 5 y pueden ver que el 5 está donde el 200 y aparte el 100 también en la diaria. Ese 5 está justamente acá en los 2.95. De poder romper esos 2.95, de nuevo, le voy a decir 299. Para mí los 2.99 es lo crítico. Vamos a tener un viaje gratuito a los 330, ¿ok? De los 330 de poder romper 370 y de ahí altos históricos. Pasas los 370, puedo firmar aquí probablemente altos históricos. Pero por ahora estamos justamente teniendo un bajón y pueden ver que nuestro promedio del 9 también está justamente 8 centavos abajo, 2 centavos abajo de donde estamos ahorita. Esta vela mensual todavía falta todo el mes para cerrarla. Acaba de abrir, estamos el 2 de mayo, falta 28 días y 3 horas para cerrarla. Pero de no poder superar el promedio del 9, obviamente el 21 es lo que sigue en esta zona de los 2.69 y después dar continuación a la baja. Pero por ahora, de nuevo, estás viendo este tipo de velas. Este tipo de velas te dicen que vinieron a tomar liquidez fácil y están continuando a la alza. Es bastante fuerte lo que estamos viendo. ¡Ay, qué fuerte lo que estamos viendo, brother! Además, pueden ver que nuestra media está en los 2.83, por lo que estamos por encima. Una vez más, dándole confirmación a esto, que si podemos superar esta zona de los $300, vamos a ir a visitar los 340, 333, $340 después. Y de ahí no me sorprendería exactamente el 50%, es que no mames. El 50% está en los 370 y el 61.8% en los 416. Es por eso que es muy importante dónde está Tesla ahorita. Vamos a la de 2 semanas. A ver si nos aclara algo más por acá. 2 semanas veníamos de justamente esto y fue donde dijimos, por eso hicimos el long, porque literalmente ya estábamos muy abajo. Y ahora personalmente yo no me la creo. No puede ser que el imbécil de yo haya comprado en una sola compra el fondo de esto. Se me hace una locura. Pero bueno, si lo hicimos y también ustedes pudieron aprovechar y comprar lo que compraran y esto de verdad nos lleva unos nuevos máximos históricos, pues felicidades a todos, ¿no? Si sigues esperando para entrar, asegúrate de tener todo listo siempre, siempre, siempre y por adelantado, para que cuando entre el precio a donde quieres, que no te entre el miedo o la avaricia, ¿no? Para llevarte. Por ahora, literal, cabrón, es que no puedes escribir estas cosas así. Por ahora, estamos en el 95% rebotando con fuerza y tenemos el promedio del 21, el 9 y el 88.3% en la zona de los 2.96. Una vez que rompes esta línea meme en los 300, eso te debería llevar a la parte baja de la zona azul en los 378, si es que esto no cambia. Ahora, faltan 7 días y 3 horas para cerrar esto y esto se va a ajustar. Vamos a ver exactamente dónde abre y dónde cierra, pero tiene cara de que los 370 van a venir a Tesla. ¡Wow! ¿Eso cuánto sería? Perdón, déjenme, me pongo algo avaro. ¿Ven? Porque no es bueno hacer eso. Medio millón. ¡Ah! 70% hasta esta línea meme acá, si compraron la primera entrada de Tesla que dije públicamente. No mames. ¿En cuánto tiempo, perdón, cuánto tiempo tomó esto? Una semana, 2 semanas, 3 semanas. Un mes. Ah, cabrón. Perdón. Bueno, pueden ver acá justamente en la semanal, estamos en la parte alta de la zona azul, venimos a rebotar y estamos ante nuestros promedios del 21 y el 34. De poder romper esta zona del 50%, vamos a poder darnos un buen vuelo al 61.8%, estando por encima de este 50% una vez más de los $300. Tu siguiente objetivo deben ser los 334 mínimo, mínimo, mínimo. Y de ahí ver si podemos y tenemos chance de ir a los 370. De romper los 370 estaríamos literalmente explotando a la alza con demasiada fuerza. Pero aquí les va. La diaria nos está diciendo que estamos en zona de sobrecalentamiento y esto podría poner un pin a nuestros objetivos en este momento. Estamos casi al 95%, pero llegar al 95% y poder consolidar aquí arriba, eso es lo que yo quiero. O por encima de estas líneas meme, el EMA 100 y el SMA 200. Si podemos hacer eso, consolidar por acá por unas semanas, eso me diría que sí tenemos más chance de ir para arriba antes de ver una corrección. De no hacerlo, una corrección no me sorprendería al nivel de los 270, mucho, es más, olvídate de los 270, a los 269, literalmente a esta zona. Y si esto no aguanta, esperaría que esta corrección nos llevara a los 250. Y ahí, si no encontramos un alto, estamos hablando de que muy probablemente vayamos a ver nuevos mínimos. No históricos, pero locales. Pero por ahora, simplemente poder romper los 295 para arriba nos debería poner una posición bastante buena en Tesla. ¿Qué máquina de imprimir dinero? Es que por eso, ¿quién quiere abrir una puta empresa cuando puedes hacer entre 300 y 700 mil dólares en 2 meses? O sea, ¿quién? ¿Cuál es el punto de abrir negocios en este puto mundo ahora? Por eso que me cuesta mucho trabajo para adelante decirle a la gente que debería de emprender en vez de aprender a invertir. Porque es mucho. Ahora, tienes que saber lo que haces, pero wow, qué estupidez. Ahí les va, simplificadito. Aquí lo tienen, Tesla 200, 100. Se los voy a poner en la semanal para que lo podamos ver de lejitos, pero fácil. Arriba de 299, vamos a los 330 y de ahí a los 370. Por debajo de los 200, ¿qué eran? 260, no, por debajo de nuestro promedio del 9, justamente, los 277. Si pierdes los 270, vas muy probablemente a ver los 250. 250, si pierdes los 250, ahí es donde yo diría, ok, mínimo nuevo, hice un round trip de todo este dinero y, bueno, no un round trip, vamos a hacer nuestras entradas más para cuando esto suba, nuestro promedio esté más abajo y ese 33%, 35% que es hoy, podría ser un 50, 70 y cuando lleguemos al 70 de hoy, sea un 120, 140%. Y así es donde haces un chingo de lana en este tipo de movimientos, damas y caballeros. Aquí lo tienen. Tesla está preparado, perfilado, listo, a punta fuego para reventar a la alza. Vamos a ver si es cierto. No entiendo por qué. Entiendo que van a ser los robotaxis que van a salir en julio y todas estas cosas. Pero más allá de eso, a través de incentivos y todo esto, más lo que probablemente estamos viendo y viviendo en este momento es lo que dijimos hace un rato y también desde antes, ese rebote de demanda por el bait que le hicieron a la gente que vayan a comprar sus cosas antes de que los aranceles suban los precios. Imagínate qué buena onda las empresas. Oye, voy a subir precios, ven a comprar todo barato de una vez, porque una vez que suba precios, no quiero hacer todo ese dinero con este inventario. Pero ahí están, ahí lo tienen. Esas son las mentiras que nos cuentan el día de hoy. Me llamo Alejandro Salomón, bienvenidos al Casino del Tío Salo. Muchísimas gracias a todos los que nos acompañaron por X, por YouTube, por donde sea. A los miembros del E-Trading Academy, muchísimas gracias. De cariño, con mucho cariño, los estamos viendo y Alex y Farhan van a estar haciendo en vivos este fin de semana en el Discord. Así que estén pendientes por ahí. Recuerden que es absolutamente gratis. Les mando un fuerte abrazo, cuídense mucho y gracias por todo. Feliz viernes. Si no lo han visto, tenemos un Nadie Me Preguntó que grabamos hoy en la mañana. Es un Nadie Me Preguntó. Un abrazote. Gracias.